Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today is going to be another Wildcard Friday. We're going to play the F&M at Home event, which is going to be an Omniscience day. So essentially this is a pre-built deck given to both players. I think you start with 3 cards in your hand or something like that, and it's 3 cards from this nonsense deck. I did have a brief look at this one because this format in general has been quite hit or miss for me in the past. But this one, I don't know, this one actually, it calls to me, I think. Things like Firesong and Sunspeaker being in here, there's Discontinuity, there's Fiery Emancipation, there's Double Vision, there's just, there's quite a lot in here. Metallurgic Summonings, all these wonderful little cards that don't see too much play. Oh, that are just chef's kiss, I would say. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. It's going to be kind of Momia-esque in the sense that you're basically going to win or lose based off the opening hand most of the time, I would say. But, you know, like Momia, there's still an element of skill. You just gotta take the hand that you're given and work with it, you know? Sometimes there's not much work to be done, but sometimes there's a bit of give and take. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about this one. There's a lot of cards, some pretty cool ones. It doesn't seem like there's a theme here, really. The only Planeswalkers that are included are the Planeswalker deck ones, by the looks of things, as well. I think last time we played this, there's a Storm Conduit. So there must be some synergy involved. I mean, it does look very spell-based this time, because we do have the Double Vision, the Thousand Year Storm, Fiery Emancipation, I guess, to a certain extent. So, I mean, there's definitely a spells kind of matter synergy here. I guess that's the theme. Although, I don't know how much we can really utilize that. We'll have to see. We'll have to keep in mind that instants and sorceries and general non-creature spells might be worth holding until we get down something that can care about it. There's your little bit of strategy advice, I guess. Do that. But yeah, without further ado, if you do enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and let's get to it, shall we? This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, so we got a board wipe, we've got a non-creature caring card, and then we also have a never to return as well. I mean, I'll keep this. The creature is pretty not exciting. Looks like our deck tracker's not going to work today. So yeah, I'm just kind of going to throw down piling and then see what happens. This pretty much is going to die to my own Clarion. I've, at this point, accepted it. Our opponent just mulled. I'm not sure if there's ever a good reason to mull in this format. We might find one, but looks like we're not having a game. Okay. Was there a free mulligan? I didn't notice. Yeah, there must have been. They mulled twice. Alright, there's a 1-3. So I guess there's a reason to mull your first hand off, at least, if you don't like it. I don't mind this one, actually. It seems like it should be able to answer our opponent's board, like we can never the Murmuring Mystic and then Clarion the bird tokens. Board wipe tribal over here. Fair enough. Alright, so let's get rid of that. Let's see if our opponent has some responses to it. Lightning Strike, my piling, make a bird. Oh yeah. We do get the Wooburg shenanigans, so I could make a 2-2. I guess I will. Let's eat their graveyard. I'm sure it matters to a certain extent. I don't remember seeing reanimation spells in there, but maybe they were. I think there was sooner probably spell reanimation with experimental overload. Recollect and Warfire Javelineer into Dynavolt Tower. That's pretty good. Fun and Ops, get some energy. This thing needs like 5 energy, I think. Yeah, 5 energy before it becomes a lightning bolt. So if they can chain some spells together, then maybe they can do something. We have an answer for it technically as well, if we have to care. Which I'd say we slightly care. Opponent bottomed into a Pteramander. Alright. I think this is the easiest Deafening Clarion of my life. Alright, so even if we can get some free damage in first. Somehow, I doubt it, but you never know. Opponent might not be aware that there probably isn't any pump spells in the format. Looks like they're going to block. Alright. Boop boop. Oh, they can adapt that with a Flugberg? Oh, well. Yeah, I should have gone for a Nova then, I guess. I'm so smart. I am so smart. Alright, well, because we've made a bad play, we're going to own that bad play, and we're going to leave the Pteramander alive, even though I probably shouldn't. But yeah, I kind of want to get more value out of my Cleansing Nova here. So I get to return a creature. I'm fine with pretty much whatever it is, because now this Nova looks much better. So this is a draw 3, then discard 2 at random. I'm going to block. It might be a bit obvious that we got a board wipe, but this is kind of like a 500 card singleton thing, so maybe our opponents don't assume that the only thing we're going to draw all game is board wipes. Destroy all creatures. Well, they've got priority for something. Who knows what it is? Opponent passes. Sweet. Alright. I think we're redeeming ourselves off of our horrendous punt earlier. We're actually in the driver's seat with a board wipe again. It's a pretty decent one. Tapped Mammoth. He's sleeping now. Huh. Interesting. Glacial Grasp from Zendikar. Not Kaldheim. Ooh. So he's going to halve his life total and make a big boy. Each vampire control gains... This thing's so bad. I guess I'm just going to go for the minuses. It's hard to see how ticking up with this thing is really a good idea. There's occasionally, like, a good card that slips through the cracks as far as, like, Planeswalker deck versions. Like, 6 mana Sarkhan has redeemable qualities. I'd say this is completely useless in any deck that you try to put it in. Interesting. Alright. I mean, I could tick it up just to keep it alive, or I can drain our opponent for 4 again, so that they go down a little bit of life. But, you know what? Because we got this Taste of Death. Like, we're going to already answer the Chain of Torment anyway, presumably. This way, they halve their life total, and then Sorin can do 2 activations to kill our opponent. And our opponent probably can't play enough things to dodge this card. I mean, any creature that creates a token needs to be backed up by another card that creates tokens. It's a card that creates tokens. Thought Distortion. Alright. So, 2-turn clock for our opponent. I guess I best do this now because they're holding the card. Also eats all the instants and sorceries that they built up from their graveyard so far, which kind of gets rid of the 5 activation there. So they have to use this card now, whatever it ends up being. It's a Cloud Shift. Oh, is that what it's called these days? I used to know this card, because I used to play it all the time. Cloud Shift, yeah. Alright, and then we'll get rid of the 9/9. Create some food. Pass the old turn. Don't know if I want to use this food just yet. 0/8 trample. Okay. We got an Ot. Ral, Storm, Conduit. You could probably do better than Ral. I want to find something that protects Sorin, essentially. Well, let's redraw. Okay. Sure. So, if they can't answer Sorin, they lose. It's the only creature you control on the Cloud Shift. And it's not an instant or sorcery, which means they lose. Alright. Really sloppy start there, but managed to close it out. I'd say our opponent had the better draws as well, but like ours just probably lined up a little bit better. It was just board wipe tribal for us, so if our opponent didn't commit as much to the board, they might have won this one. Not entirely sure on that, but who knows. We did get some good draws, mind you. Like, not to talk down our rambunctious mutt turn, but you know, we kind of gave our opponent the keys to the victory by going for the Clarion while realizing that the Terramander could actually become quite large. I'm just so used to this thing being very expensive that I didn't think our opponent could pay 8, because you can only do 5 off of this thing, so I just assumed wrongly. And you know what they say when you assume? You make an ass out of you or me. I just assumed that they couldn't actually activate the Adapton here, which was incorrect. And, you know, reading sometimes is helpful. But yeah, let's go for another game. Ooh. Is this, Wait, this is an infinite combo, isn't it? Dowser and Mythos? We play Dowser, we make a copy of it. The copy brings back Mythos, we just make infinite Dowsers. So our opponent literally needs a board wipe or they've already lost. Well, they did pass their turn immediately, so let's Doomfall them. None of these cards are good enough to beat us. So let's take the Mirari's Conjecture, I guess, just in case they find an instant off the top that works for them. Because now we Dowser. Alright. Well, we did get to show it off, but our opponent getting their hand shredded was good enough, apparently. So yeah, we Dowser, we get the Doomfall, then we Mythos of a Luna, which creates a copy. After the copy is created, this spell resolves, so it's automatically in our graveyard. So the copy brings back Mythos, and then that's an infinite loop of creatures, especially considering it is free. Technically, we could spend mana on it to make them fight, but we won't need to do that. We also get prowess triggers from our Dowser every time that we Mythos. So, like, we don't have to do it too much in order to get 20. Our opponent could top deck a board wipe and be back in this game, but they don't want to try, so, you know. GG, I guess. Alright, we go first. When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage to target creature and opponent controls, where X is the number of instants and sorceries in your graveyard. Okay, so we'll hold that as a bit of removal. It seems fine. We can deliberate into our next play, I suppose, and try do an Omniscience draft kind of chain. See if we can find some card draw, card draw, card draw. Embodiment and Hungry Flames. I'm going to say no to both of these. Hungry Flames is okay, but it looks like the Cyclops Electromancer will probably remove just fine for us. 2 damage to 2 targets. Sure. Okay. So we are safe from hand disruption. Unless it's the 6 mana one, Thought Distortion. Because that one straight up can't be countered. Oh god, double vision. Alright, so we can do 2 damage to 2 targets. Then Cyclops enters, does 2 damage. Presumably this is okay. Then the Electromancer. Maybe they got a pump spell. It would be kind of bad if they did. Yeah, well, they have Cloud Shift. That also works, doesn't it? Alright, fair enough. So they can sack this to return an instant and sorcery if they really want to. Rowdy Crew. Unfriendly Fire, 4 damage to any target. We do have a counter for target removal. Opponent's off to the better start here, quite clearly. Ew. This is only spell that targets, so... Rock Sliding Boy can kill our Electromancer. Revitalize, yeah. We can Gravedigger it back, but who knows if that's really even worth it. When we're probably as dead as we're going to be right now. Double Vision, a hell of a card. I mean, maybe we shouldn't have kept this hand. It seemed okay, but in the world of free mulligans, I think you take the better hands than just okay. Oh. Interesting. There might be something to do here. So, Shipwreck Dowser. I think we're going with the Deliberate. If we can find a Mythos, then we turn this one right back around. Experimental Overload. Can get me a Deliberate back again, I suppose, so we might as well go for that. So let's make a 2-2. Get back Deliberate. Let's Deliberate again. It's quite stormy, this format, isn't it? Let's go with a draw 2, lose 2, mill 2. Yeah, maybe they've actually, like, tried to capture the soul of Omniscience draft, which is a format that I hold quite dear. Mirari's Conjecture. If this was cast during your main phase, draw a card. Alright, so we're going to remove one of the tokens. Actually, should we have done that? We shouldn't have done that. It's alright, because we can Mirari's Conjecture it back. The thing that we should have done is targeted our Shipwreck Dowser and had infinite draw. Mirari's Conjecture. Like, we have this keep safe anyway, so anything our opponent can do can be reacted with. So return target creature to its owner's hand. We want to do that on the Dowser. Yeah, I'm so used to most of the bounce spells these days saying your opponent's control. Alright, well there's infinite Dowsers. So now we... well, let's get the Arrestus thing just in case we make a horrendous mistake. Did we just make a horrendous mistake, chap? We didn't make a horrendous mistake, right? We made a horrendous mistake. Oh no! Oh, how embarrassing. We do have a Gravedigger though, so like we can just bring it back and continue. I should have waited until the double vision resolved, because they would have pointed at the 2-1 probably. Alright, now we just continue doing what we were doing. We have the abdomation or whatever you want to call it. I'll take the keep safe, I suppose. And then we just make a million copies of Shipwrecked Dowser, and we keep drawing until we find negate, I think. At that point. Mythos. God, I did not deserve to win this. I truly did not. Yeah, just keep this loop going infinitely. So the last one did let us play it out. This opponent's going to let us. Mostly, I would presume, because we've made a horrendous mistake before. So the route is that I will do it again. Which I won't, honestly, I won't say is unlikely. They could also be playing it out, because they do have the Spellkeeper weird, which can get planar outburst as well. But, you know, we're going to be bouncing with the Arresters to draw a million cards soon enough. I'm just going to make like a million copies with Mythos first. I guess I could start now. Foot Windrobber. Bounce spell. Million triggers. I wish there was like a resolve all for that, but probably isn't, and that will be the reason why we end up timing out, maybe. Pew 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 pew. Crackling Drake, sure. And our opponent has gone to make some dinner, I think. Oh dear. Yeah, you know that they added this specific card draw, this specific bounce spell for this combo. I'm gonna put it out there. I think the devs did a good job on this one. This format is particularly tasty. Oh, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, scry one. That'll help out. So now we get to scry and then draw. We don't want that. We're just looking for counter spells. Deals that much damage to a creature. Okay. Guess we can play that out. Just a million triggers. Alright. Bounce the Dowser. Don't want that. Actually, no, we do want that, right? Because that could have been the damage we needed to win. I guess they can go Spellkeeper weird on it, so we'd have to protect it, but we have the keep safe for that as well. Inescapable Blaze. I could take that, and then if I find 1000 Year Storm, that's our win. So that'll save us some time, maybe. What a combo. Nope. The downside of having a million cards in your deck. If you control a wizard, draw a card. I do control many wizards, as it turns out. Mending, don't want that. Oh, Approach of the Second Sun. Yep. There we go. We're going to win via Approach. Let's put that back in the deck, and then start digging for it. Our opponent... Apparently, now our opponent has seen a literal win con that he decided to scoop. I don't know why, because I'm assuming they played that out as long as they did because their out was that I'd make a mistake, so, like, assuming that I suddenly won't make a mistake going through these extra cards here is a bit weird, but, yeah, Shipwreck Dowser with any kind of copy spell is absurd. We also have a deal 8 damage here as well, which is cool. Only deals it to creatures, so we're only getting rid of, like, a 5/5, but... Yeah, Spellkeeper Weird gets quite a number of things, like Cleansing Nova is one of them. That was probably originally the reason for them hanging around. It can at any point as well kind of go and grab Chandra's Outrage, but they know we have this keep safe, so they need this to be something useful as well. They've already used their double vision. Painfully aware that that's already been used. But yeah, we made so many mistakes there, we deserve to lose, but you know what? We comboed, and that's cool. Next game. Okay, we're in, and it's Shipwreck Dowser again. That's probably 3 times today we've seen this one card out of, what, 100 and... How many cards is it? 150. 3 times in this 150 card deck that we've seen Shipwreck Dowser, so all we really need now is to find a way of leveraging Shipwreck Dowser, because we can bounce it infinitely with River's Rebuke at the moment, but we have to do a little bit more than that. A creature that enters and draws a card alongside Shipwreck Dowser should do it. Let's see if we can do that. It's Experimental Overload. Oh no! Dang it. Alright, combo over. Beetlebat Chief, sure. Paradoxical Outcome. 1000-Year Storm. Beetlebat Chief, alright. It's double strike as long as there are 3 or more instants and sorceries in your graveyard. So what do we want to do here? I don't think I want a River's Rebuke. I think I just want to play a 3/2 and pass. It's not worth rebuking just yet. Like, it gets rid of 2 tokens. Now it gets rid of 2 tokens, but also deals us 2 damage. So there is that. Yeah, sure. I'll trade that. Paradoxical Outcome. So do you bounce here? Is that, I guess, the real question. Taking 2 to get rid of 4 tokens? I'd say so. I'd say that's worth it. Officially. It's not as if it, like, actually does anything tempo-wise, so... Could get punished if there's graveyard hate in this format, but I don't know. And then you can't really copy off this one card as far as the wording on 1000-Year Storm's concerned. So now what we want is a permanent that can be bounced with Paradoxical Outcome in a cool way. Now it's a bounce with a draw attached to it. I think I'm going to hold that. That's real bad. Uh-oh. Goblin Wizardry. There is a Gravedigger as well. I want one that returns instants and sorceries, really. So they also have a Momentary Blink here as well. This is not a wizard, so Adelaide isn't going to do much. No, they got the Doomfall back. Ah! That's just gonna shred my hand. Yeah. There's no real reason to use any of it, because they just get whatever I draw into instead. Which one do you want to take? Yeah, sometimes you are going to lose to their god draw. I think this is no exception. It's a pretty solid god draw, if I do say so myself. Could get more godlike if that card's good, but it looks like it isn't. Actually, it looks like they're going to hit me for 3. And then plan on either blinking or outcoming. Personally, I feel like I'd go for the blink, because the outcome goes wider. But I guess it doesn't really matter. Like, it's a draw 2 there. And it's a draw 1 there, but yeah. Metallurgic summonings, oh god. At least it doesn't trigger off of copies. But it hasn't gotten any less godly. Now they blink, they can make a... what's the 2-drop with the summonings. If they really want to. Just gonna hold it. Let's see when it enters the battlefield. So it kills the Stormcaller. So they have a blink right now. I guess I could play the Leech, go for the Stormcaller. I have the paradoxical outcome to return it and then use it again. So, like, blink isn't really a response. Because I'll make it fizzle. Now it's a response. Alright. Well, let's upkeep them. Because this has flash. So, paradoxical outcome, Blitz Leech. Get a Terramander. I'm just going to go after the token because I can't blink it. I mean, I'm already dead though, right? Because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, they need 6 artifacts. It's not instants in the graveyard. Never mind. They do also have Approach of the Second Sun, so there's a 7/7. Casual. So, yeah, target my Blitz Leech again. Shame it wasn't punishable, but, you know, is what it is. We haven't managed to get a foot up on our opponent at all this game. I don't even think you blink if you're my opponent. There's just no reason to. I'll trade my 1/1. I don't see how it actually wins me the game. Yeah, I mean, we needed something good right there, and we don't, so let's just play it all out. Hope for the best. Our opponent hasn't whiffed on a top deck yet, so can't imagine they start now. Yeah, it's a 3/2 double striker. Okay. We get to trade a 5/5s. Which I'm okay with. I think I'm holding my electrostatic field because there's maybe a world where I can chain together a combo where this kills our opponent. They don't have anything on board right now from this block to kill me. It's really my only hope though, because I'm dead next turn anyway off of a bad draw. That's a bad draw. Alright, yep, that was pretty horrendous from start to finish. Our opponent did very well. Quite jealous, but we'll go for another game. Okay. Got a card draw. It's not a very good hand, though, in general. Opponent goes first. I think we take a mull on this one. And just try for something better. Repeat Reverberation, Outrage, and Befuddle. Alright, those are some defensive cards on the draw. This one's much better, especially much better than going... Oof. Much better than going down to 2. So we've got a Vampire Sovereign. Drain me for 3. Their final card. Looks to be not that good. Alright, so I could Outrage. Or I could redraw with Befuddle. Wait. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm about to find out. Yeah, I figured as much. Alright, well, we're gonna Befuddle the Vampire Sovereign. We're gonna Ral. Tick up Ral.
You like the gauntlets?
Destroy an attacking creature, draw a card. Yep, that works for me. Ping you. Yeah, so if this spell was cast from your hand and you've cast, so that's the bit that I was getting a little bit turned around over. We just have to get down to the second sun though. So we're pretty much just going to bottom everything and then draw off of attacking creatures, which is kind of nice. Want to deliberate, so that's the first of Thousand Year Storm's triggers. They'll want to dig for counter magic probably, because I don't think they're going to 38 me by the time I get 4 cards deep. 2 to the bottom, yeah. But if they can find card draw for Thousand Year Storm, then it pays to have that on top instead. Deafening Clarion for lifelink, sure, doesn't matter. Let's get rid of Torbran, ping our opponent. Storm's Wrath.
Nothing feels broken.
4 damage to any target. So I -2 down to 4, then I unfriendly fire the Talrand at a 2/2. I don't have a draw right now, so I mean, I guess I can just scry up.
When a storm sea washes the dead,
Shipwreck Dowser, my favorite. Just put Approach on top and then Storm's Wrath. Ping you.
You're good. Not as good as me, but
And then I have a way of not being hit for 38. And top deck Approach. Yeah. It shows how much attention I pay to a lot of these cards. It's like I was reading this to compare it off of the double cast, and quite clearly I skipped the entire first sentence, which, you know, you'd think I'd start at, but that's just not the way I roll. But, you know, we won anyway, so who cares? Alright, well, let's go for one last game, I think. These have been quite short. Some of them have been quite long and back and forthy, but quite short overall. It's been fun, though. Been really enjoying it. Hopefully you guys have too. We'll find out, though. See if you get to the end. Alright, one more game. Return a card from your graveyard to your hand. Everything else is removal. It's not the most exciting hand in the world, but it keeps me alive, so I think we're going to go for it. This is honestly seems like a very powerful card to me. In a format like this where chaining spells together is quite good. So our opponent goes for a Deliberate. I would value that higher than any card that's in my hand right now, to be honest. At this current time, at least. Recollect when you got a graveyard full of shenanigans is pretty good, but... yeah, just being able to really select your hand and make it much, much better seems ideal. I think they've got a difficult choice here. Either that or they've disconnected in this mobile-ready game. We'll see. 2 to the top, that's spooky. Uh-oh. You don't like seeing that. Alright, from here. Our opponent is about to time themselves out. Okay. We've made it. We pass. Bank that time, chat. Bank that time. We're gonna need it by the sounds of it. Okay, opponent passes. They may also have a very similar looking hand to my own. Yeah, we'll drop that down. Might get countered, who knows. Absorbs and negates do exist here. Discontinuity. End my turn. Alright. It's a counter spell. It would have punished us if we had anything else to do, but we don't. It was also, by the way, it was on the stack, which meant it gets exiled when it resolves. So, no Aetherflux Reservoir to get back with our Recollect there. It's one of those weird things. Yeah, little do they know it was the worst discontinuity they could possibly get. This hand, man, this is a thing. Who knew we were playing Draugr control on both sides? It's the mirror. One of us is gonna have to play a good card soon. Who's it gonna be? Not my opponent. Experimental Overload, that's another card that you hold on to. We're gonna have to play first though, right? Because we're the ones who will hit 8 cards first. Another reactionary spell. Oh dear. I mean, I can always Lightning Strike my opponent in the face. It's not the greatest move in the world, but it's a move that then puts our opponent on being the proactive player. So I'll just end step Lightning Strike them here, probably. Actually, no, I won't. There's no reason to. You only really need to end step someone if you want to use mana, and we don't need to, so... Seagate Stormcaller. Okay. Let it go for now. Maybe they do a targeted spell and then we can react to it. They did it with Kicker? I don't know. It's not how that card works, opponent. It's 2 or less. Not 6. Unfortunately for them. I think that was their big master plan, wasn't it? To put me exceptionally low. This is 2 damage dividers you choose. So they did kick it, yeah. I will negate one of these. Seems like a lot of damage. That one, please. I don't know if unsubstantiate or anything like that's in this format, but if it is and they want to choose their own spell, just choose the copy instead so they can't do that. Alright. I'll bolt the Stormcaller. It's 2 damage every turn when we're on 10. It seems worthwhile. Is it worthwhile protecting, though? Because I think that's what our opponent's considering. Vizier. Exile target creature if it attacked or blocked this turn. It did not attack or block this turn. I had to double check that because I wasn't even sure why it was getting targeted in the first place. Yeah, oops indeed, I think. Alright, let's just get rid of that. Honestly, anything they play is essentially a threat at this point. Reveal the top of your library. If it's a creature card, put it into your hand, otherwise put it on the bottom of your library. Well, I guess we might as well. This one's got quite a cool ult as well. Makes all your creatures essentially unblockable. Let's see if we can draw a card. We cannot. Cloud Shift goes to the bottom. Thankfully. How about Experimental Overload on something like Negate? That seems worthwhile. I'm going to save the Recollect because it's any card, whereas Experimental Overload is only instant or sorcery. I'm going to put a Negate in my hand. And then we'll pass. So we do have kind of a pseudo fight with the minus as well. 3/3 seems reasonable. I guess a card like this makes the Exile Experimental Overload side of things look very... Yeah, that's fine. The wording on it makes sense. Because if you could play this, return an instant, and then return the Recollect, return the Experimental Overload, that's an infinite combo, right? Overload brings back Recollect, Recollect brings back Overload. Yeah, you can have a 2/2. I think we're actually recollecting Garruk at this point, because he can potentially draw his cards. Dive down. Like, I think potentially drawing cards is probably quite important. It's better than guaranteeing you're not drawing cards. Slice in Twain was a card draw spell. Not a very good one, but could have been useful. So we have Dive Down Protection. I can't really see it being much more useful than it will be right here. So fizzle the intervention, keep our Garruk alive. Opponent's not much of a control player. I think that's very apparent. Because they're not dead. I wouldn't say they're in the driver's seat either, but they're not dead. These cards can potentially just be complete garbage. We do have a negate backup, so maybe they were trying to bait out some removal or put pressure on Garruk. Like, this ticked up twice and didn't draw anything. Doesn't seem awfully threatening, so finding out that you can't kill it or attack it on this turn is probably not a great reason to to scoop them up, but who knows. I actually kind of want one more game, so I lied. Let's have one more game instead of this being the last game. Let's go. Okay. So it's not the most exciting hand, but we have 2 synergistic cards. And sort of a thing to play. I'm going to keep this one. We're going to see how it works out for us. I'm not going to play Mouth to Feed right away, because then if I do... Well, I suppose if I did Mouth right now, I would draw one card off the feed and we'd make 2 triggers. But I can tap and untap the Thermo Alchemist on top of making 1/1 elementals from the Pyromancer. So I'm just not entirely sure playing it right away is all that important. Ooh dear. That's a combo.
Over you like a dark cloud.
So they can minus and potentially remove both my creatures here. That would be less than ideal. I think that's what they're thinking about. It's what they've decided upon.
Feel the fury of the tempest.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Highlight my cards. This game's going to be over in seconds. So I guess, judging by our opponent's very slow but apparent combination of cards, Mouth to Feed should have been what we went with. Actually, it wouldn't have mattered, because Flames could divide among all my elemental tokens as well. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright. Ooh, a Recollect. So we could Recollect Young Peasy, play Young Peasy, Mouth Feed. That gives us plenty to threaten Ral with, I guess. At this point, it's probably better than Thermo Alchemist. So, Mouth. Feed. Rowdy Crew. Draw 3, discard 2. Get to keep a Relic Amulet. It's not really the one I'd want, I think. I'd probably want the Bellhaunt over anything else there, but it's a pretty reasonable board state, though. Okay, it's a 3/4. I wouldn't say I'm upset with the state of my board right now.
Into current affairs. Get it? Because current. See?
Yeah, we get it, Ral. We get it. Alright, Dad. Okay, that's not a bad one. So do I want to eat the card in their hand, or do I want to eat one of their creatures? If I eat one of their creatures, they keep the Chimera, presumably. It means I trample 1, they trade here. 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's not going to be great either way, is it? As far as trades are concerned. I might just take the card in their hand. It's not exactly going to be a dead land, is it? Return creatures to their hands. Cool. Alright. So let's swing. If they block on this, then Ral dies, so they'll want to block here. And that should have him killed, right? Because that'll be the 1/4. I guess if they block with the electrostatic field as well. Let's add a little bit more. I'm not going to get the Young Peasy in, though. We always have this Relic Amulet as well to trade up some damage, depending on the blocks. It's like if they block 3/4 on 3/3, I'll just Relic Amulet and kill the Chimera. This way I don't really care about one single token.
Back to the drawing board.
Because Relic Amulet can present more damage later, so it's ideal that I end up getting to keep it. Alright, that's a bit spooky. An answer to that couldn't come soon enough. Instants and sorceries right now are god tier powerful for them. E2 Chronicler. Can get back Recollect. Wow, people scoop so quickly in this game. I mean, my board was getting bigger, but theirs is way more scary. Like, I suppose what I go and grab is the Recollect. The Recollect grabs, I guess maybe Enigma Drake, but like this will be at that point. It'd still be a 2-4. It still doesn't trade into the Umara Mystic all that much. I suppose I could get a Doomfall. I'm not sure what they were scared of in my graveyard that really makes a difference. Actually, if I play Doomfall to make them exile a creature, I respond to the trigger on Relic Amulet, put the counter on this, use the 3 charges to kill the Mystic, and then the Doomfall kills one or the other. Sure. I guess that's kind of bad for them. I guess that's not ideal. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have scooped if I were them. There's just too much potential to win the game on the spot. It's like they could have Inescapable Blaze, that's 6 points, that's half my life total, and then they just need a way to return it and then cast it again, which is doable. They have outs, so you know what? Some people just don't want to find their outs, especially in formats like this, which is a bit of a shame, because you like people to play it out and have that good back and forth, but not many people want to. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, really appreciate it if you do hit the thumbs up and also subscribe as well if you haven't done so already. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that bell icon as well. That'll give you notifications when I go and release new videos, which is Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday these days. I actually have a new schedule. I've been sticking to it. It's been pretty good. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying that. But yeah, take care, guys. Have a good night.